Hare Krishna. Okay. Hare Krishna, you devotees, Hare Krishna. So, right, we'll do a short reading today then. Let me share the screen. Anybody would like to sing our prayer today? Shriya Mataji, would you like to do again? You did sing last time.
Yes, Prabhu. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, just sharing the screen now. Please go ahead, Mataji, if you want.
Yeah. Thakura Vaishnava Pada Avanira Sampada Shuno Bhai Hoyai Kamana Ashraya Loya Bhaje Tare Krishna Nahi Tyaje Hara Sab More Akarana वैष्णव चरण जल प्रेम भक्ति दीते बोला हर के हो नहीं बलवंत वैष्णव चरण रेणु मस्तके भूषण वीनु हर नाही भूषणेर अंत तीर्थ जल पवित्र गुणे लिखिया जे पुराणे से सब भक्तिर प्रवंचन वैष्णवेर पादोदक समनहि सब याते होय वांछित पुराण वैष्णव संगीते मन आनंदित अनुक्षण सदा होय कृष्ण परसंग दीननरोत्तम कांदे हिय धैर्य नाही बांधे मोर दास केनो होलो भंग ठाकुर वैष्णव पद अवनीर संपद शुनो भाई होया एक मन हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा
Shri Das Thakur ki jai, Vaishnava Thakur Ratna ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai. You can read the translations also, Mataji.
Okay. O brother, please hear my words with rapt attention. The lotus feet of the Vaishnavas are the most valuable treasure of this world. These Vaishnavas continually take shelter of Lord Krishna and worship him. They never abandon their Lord. They are liberated. They are free from the cycle of birth and death. The water that has washed the lotus feet of the Vaishnavas bestows devotional service and pure love of God. Nothing else is as effective for attaining this divine love. I place dust from the lotus feet of the Vaishnavas upon my head. I wear no other ornament. The purifying power of the waters at the various holy places of pilgrimage is described in the Puranas. Although this is something of a deceptive trick, actually, there is not anything as purifying as the water that has washed the lotus feet of the Vaishnavas. This water fulfills all desires. Moment after moment, my mind finds pleasure in the association of the Vaishnavas. I always seek out the company of those who are devoted to Lord Krishna. Poor hearted Narottam Das breaks down and cries, how has this fallen condition come upon me? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Shri Mataji. Okay. Yeah, so this dust of the lotus feet of the Vaishnavas is there in the dhams and everywhere mostly. So that's why when we do Dandvat Pranam, it is good when we offer obeisances. We are offering obeisances not just to the Lord, but also to the lotus feet of all the Vaishnavas who have walked in the dhams. Okay, let's continue then with Prabhupada Leela So we started chapter 45 yesterday. Please distribute my books, Prabhupada was saying. So these books are wonderful um, way of preaching. Prabhupada says this is the best form of preaching. You know, our speech of 2-3 minutes is not going to do anything. But if somebody takes a book and they read, then that will turn their life, like Prabhupada said famously. So, and he's continued to encourage all his devotees all across. But the devotees in San Francisco, California, came up with a very novel way. A couple of brahmacharis, they distributed a book at a gas station in exchange for gas. And then after that, a whole revolution started, and they started going out and distributing in Sankirtan and in schools and colleges and public places everywhere. So, and then slowly that spark spread like a wildfire to other places in LA, in Denver, and other cities in America. And Prabhupada was very encouraged to read these book distribution scores, and it was like a transcendental competition happening across the centers, across the temples, and all over America. So, but Prabhupada's continued to encourage them that this is the best form of preaching, and they should continue to do that. So, like we were one pastime, one of the Prabhupada disciples had shared, where one Mataji, her name was Radha Kund Devidasi, and how after Prabhupada left, she really used to love distributing Prabhupada books. She would be very enthusiastic to distribute at the Vrindavan temple, and in Vrindavan and other places. And then after Prabhupada left this world, and then kind of somewhere her she came to know some other Babajis in near Radhakund and in Vrindavan Dham. So she started going there, and then she kind of lost her focus of book distribution, and she started being influenced by those other Babajis. And then one day she writes that, Srila Prabhupada came in her dreams and he chastised her. What are you doing? And then she said, "Oh, I'm just trying to serve here in Radhakund." And then she says that Prabhupada took her forcibly. He said, "Come with me." And he dragged her with her hands, and he took her down into the Radhakund, and they both went into the Radhakund, to the deepest depth of Radhakund. And Prabhupada there, he had a book distribution table, and then there are so many of suffering souls all around crying for help, and Prabhupada is distributing those books. So then Prabhupada saw, and she saw that Prabhupada was telling her that this is the heart of Radhakund. So her name also was Radhakund. She was serving Radhakund, but Prabhupada says this is the heart of Radhakund, to distribute this transcendental literature. So anyway, so she shared that pastime. So I just remembered that with this book distribution theme that we are reading. Okay, so let's continue here. Yes, so Prabhupada wrote, distribute books, as many as possible. If anyone hears some philosophy from us, that will help him. But if he purchases one book, that may turn his life. So selling books is the best preaching activity. Sell books. Hold the kirtan in public places like schools and colleges. Preach. And in a letter to Bhagwan Das in France, he stressed the same thing. What will your 3 minutes preaching do? But if they buy one book, it may turn their life. During this period of increasing book distribution, one of Srila Prabhupada's newly initiated sannyasis concocted the idea that the devotees should spend much more time studying. While visiting the New York temple, the sannyasi openly advocated that devotees read Srila Prabhupada's books 5 to 8 hours daily. The temple was following a new schedule Srila Prabhupada had set up, which devotees attending the morning program, going out all day for street chanting and book distribution, and returning in the evening for a class on Bhagavad Gita. But now controversy arose, and an urgent phone call was placed to Srila Prabhupada in Los Angeles. When Prabhupada heard the details from his secretary, he immediately responded, "My reply is that this Sankirtan or street chanting must go on. It is our most important program. Lord Chaitanya's movement means the Sankirtan movement. You may simply take 2 hours for chanting 16 rounds daily, 2 hours for reading congregationally, and balance of time go out for Sankirtan. We must do both, reading books and distributing books. But distributing books is the main propaganda. Reading in class for 2 hours is sufficient, and other reading can be done in spare time if one has got it. It is not that one has to be always reading. 1 hour a morning for Bhagavad class and 1 hour evening, either Bhagavad Gita or Nectar of Devotion. That is sufficient. January 1972. You should always think of new outlets for distributing my books, Srila Prabhupada wrote to Jagadish. And new outlets the devotees found. Shopping centers, malls, parking lots. They were meeting more people than ever before. By entering the malls and shopping centers, the devotees plunged into the heart of the American society, meeting pious and impious, rich and poor, black and white. Book selling was still difficult, but the devotees persevered, carrying their heavy book bags and distributing the literature they knew could solve all problems. The devotees saw the shoppers as so many walking victims of the material energy, people living for sensual and mental pleasure, and therefore doomed to an inauspicious death. Any serious devotee could philosophically explain from Bhagavad Gita the predicament of the materialist. But now they were directly witnessing this plight, and by Prabhupada's mercy, they were working hard to deliver the missing essence of transcendental knowledge to the bewildered souls. Then came the discovery of traveling from town to town to sell books. Some of the brahmacharis in Los Angeles had been feeling that by staying in the temple, they were wasting time they could be using for book distribution. So they loaded a van with Krishna books and went to areas where they could camp for a week, live a simpler life, and distribute books as many hours a day as they liked. This traveling Sankirtan produced another significant increase by creating an environment wherein the men could become fully absorbed in their work. The new program spread quickly throughout the ISKCON world, and Srila Prabhupada liked it. I am very glad to hear from you the wonderful news of the traveling party in England. I think the people of that place are becoming more and more inclined for this Krishna consciousness movement. They are inviting you to stay at their houses. They are taking books, becoming sometimes devotees. All of these are very encouraging signs to me. Simply go on in this way, stopping in every village and city in England, Scotland, or if there are other places like Ireland. Simply stop for some time, distribute books, and hold Sankirtana procession, answer their questions, give some leaflets or some small information freely, distribute prasadam wherever possible, at least some small thing, and if there is some genuine interest being shown, then request the townspeople to arrange some engagements for speaking in their schools or someone's house or a hall like that. In this way, remain always without anxiety for destination and comfortable situations, always relying only on the mercy of Krishna for your plan. Just go on preaching his message and selling his books wherever there is interest. We shall not waste time if there is no interest or if people are unfriendly. There are so many places to go. Srila Prabhupada began saying that opening new centers was less important now that the traveling parties were combing the country. When he heard that the temple president in Vancouver had acquired a bus for traveling, he wrote, I think we are becoming like a gigantic guerrilla warfare movement, fighting with Maya. This traveling in buses is the best means to drive away Maya and establish Krishna consciousness all over the world. Prabhupada was glad to hear that the temple presidents and zonal leaders were also going out with the traveling Sankirtan parties. The Vedic concept of the commander, he said, is that he must fight in the front lines, not sit behind the scenes sheltered. Having already witnessed how some of his leading disciples had become bogged down in managing many things, he advised them all to travel and preach, distributing literature wherever they went. Practically, this ISKCON organization is there because I have always been traveling. I never sat down in my old age. No. So you follow my example and preach widely all over the world. That is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's version. When a devotee in California wrote Srila Prabhupada for permission to give up married life and go on traveling Sankirtan, Prabhupada replied that to give up family life was not necessary. Lord Chaitanya had taught that being a sannyasi or a grihastha did not matter as long as one fully served Krishna. A householder could also sometimes travel and distribute books with or without his wife. Near the end of 1972, the BBT newsletter, now compiled by Karandhara's assistant Rameshwar, reported the ever increasing results of book distribution. Book distribution continues soaring to all time highs as more than 25 traveling Sankirtana parties roam the countryside, affecting the lives of hundreds of thousands of conditioned souls. Since mid-September, we have distributed over 15,000 complete Krishna trilogy sets, and since mid-August, we have distributed over 9,000 soft Bhagavad Gitas and over 950 hard Bhagavad Gitas. The Macmillan 2 has completely sold out. 20,000 Gitas sold commercially and is reprinting large quantities for the Christmas rush. Another breakthrough for book distribution came at the end of 1972. The previous year, devotees had taken advantage of the Christmas season by selling the Krishna book door to door, but no one had been aware just how significant the Christmas season could actually be. Rameshwar. It was on December 22nd, 1972 that we accidentally discovered the Christmas marathon in LA. Of course, we noticed a great increase in the number of people going into the stores, and the stores were staying open sometimes until midnight. I was standing in front of a Burbank Zoris. We were having an intense competition with prices in LA, and it was building up to a feverish pitch. So after distributing madly all day long, I had collected about $350 and had distributed 650 magazines. It was about 10 o'clock at night. I was convinced this was the new world's record in ISKCON and that nobody was possibly going to beat me this day. Even though the store was open until 12, business had started slowing off and I was thinking maybe I should go back. Undoubtedly, everyone is back already. No one has ever stayed out past 8 o'clock. They'll all be waiting up for me. I shouldn't keep them waiting up. So in this way, my mind was convincing me to go back. But by 11 o'clock, the store was completely dead. I got in the car and started driving back. On the way back, I passed another Zodi's called Hollywood Zodi's on Sunset and Western. I was torn whether to stop or not because that store was crowded and was going to be open until midnight. But I decided no, I'll go back because the other devotees will be waiting up to see how many books I distributed. So I just kept driving. I finally arrived at the temple at about 10 minutes to 12 and I burst into the Sankirtan room. But the only person there was the secretary, Madhukantha. I said, "Oh no, everyone went to bed?" He said, "No, nobody is back yet." I was the first one back. That was the discovery of the first Christmas marathon. It was completely unplanned. No one had ever instructed anyone to stay out that late. We just did it spontaneously. Finally, at about 1:30 in the morning, all the devotees had returned and we were all sitting around looking at the Sankirtana map. We couldn't sleep. We were so excited to go out. We were thinking, where can we find plenty of conditioned souls to distribute books to? Our noise and raucous laughter was like a drunken party, and it woke up Karandar, who was sleeping in his office in the next room. He came stumbling in, wiping the sleep from his eyes, but when he saw us and saw what was going on, he burst out laughing and sent us all to bed, saying, "Get ready for tomorrow." So in this way, we performed a 3-day marathon, December 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. No one had ever distributed as many books before in the history of our movement. A big day had been considered to be somewhere between 25 and 40 books, but we were distributing between 5,000 and 6,000 pieces of literature a day for a 3-day period. One temple had distributed almost 18,000 pieces of literature in just 3 days. At this time, Srila Prabhupada was in Bombay, where his attempt to secure the land in Juhu had become entangling. The landlord was now refusing to sell the property and was trying to evict the devotees, even though Srila Prabhupada had already installed Radhakrishna deities on the land. Although these matters were causing Srila Prabhupada anxiety, he continued his usual daily duties, taking his morning walk, lecturing the evening room from the nectar of devotion, corresponding with and receiving news from his centers around the world, even organizing a Bombay Pandal festival for January. When Prabhupada received news of book distribution in LA and elsewhere in the United States, he was very pleased and amazed. Although involved with many affairs from throughout the world, he put them aside and relished the overwhelming victory of book distribution in America. Immediately, he called in his personal secretary and dictated letters. "My dear Rameshwar, I beg to acknowledge receipt of your letter dated December 27, 1972, and with great happiness, I have read your figures of amount of books sold during the 3-day period, December 22 to 24, 1972. It is scarcely believable that more than 17,000 books could have been sold by one temple in 3 days. That indicates to me that people are at last becoming little serious about this Krishna consciousness movement in your country. Otherwise, why they should buy our books? But they can see that our boys and girls devotees are so much sincere and serious to distribute the message of Krishna consciousness. They are at once struck by seeing them and therefore they appreciate and purchase. This is unique in the world. So I am so much pleased upon all the boys and girls in LA and all over the world who are understanding and appreciating this unique quality of our transcendental literature, and voluntarily they are going out to distribute despite all circumstances of difficulty. By this effort alone, they are assured to go back to home, back to Godhead. The same day, Prabhupada dictated a letter to Karandhar. I could never have thought it was possible to distribute so many of our literatures. Therefore, I can understand it is simply Krishna's blessing us for you're sincerely working on his behalf. Actually, that is the secret of my success. Not that personally I have done anything wonderful, but that because those who are helping me are sincere, they have done the work. That is the reason for our success all over the world, where others have failed. A little sincerity is a very difficult thing in this age of hypocrisy and bluff. But I'm so fortunate that Krishna has sent me all of you nice boys and girls who are sincerely working. Please convey to all of them my deepest appreciation. Hare Krishna. Yes. Okay, so we'll pause here. See what pleases Srila Prabhupada. Distributing. So even though all Prabhupada painstakingly translated all these literatures from Sanskrit into English, uh, it was like he's saying, it is not his books. It is actually Krishna's books, Krishna's message, and like he was mentioning yesterday also, as he was translating these books. He just wanted to distribute them to the world without keeping anything for himself. Even the last copies that was printed, um, he had the Krishna book, the teachings of Lord Chaitanya, and that copy came out, and one last copy that he had, that that also he gave away to one of his disciples, Satyavrata, who was not even regularly coming to the center. So Brahmananda Swami Maharaj was reflecting that that is how Prabhupada was. He just completely wanted to share this mercy with everybody. So we can see he himself is personally doing that. He doesn't want to keep anything for himself. He just wants to distribute everything, this transcendental literature, because again, it is not his, as he says. It is Krishna's message. It is the predecessor Acharya's messages, because he's translating all of these by referencing commentaries from various different Acharyas. So yeah, that is the mood of Srila Prabhupada, and he's very, 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 very pleased to see the enthusiasm of his disciples in distributing this message to conditioned souls around the world. And most of us can relate to this, because most of us have come into the movement by hearing this pure message of the Lord through the pure message of his devotee Srila Prabhupada. I have mentioned personally also previously, for me, it was reading Srila Prabhupada's book was the transformation in my life, because I had never read something like this before. So when I first started reading Srila Prabhupada's books, that was kind of the attraction for me to continue my journey. Of course, then everything else starts happening, association of the devotees. But yeah, you start reading the books and you start having more association, hearing, chanting, all of things start to happen. But the first thing, of course, was reading his book, hearing the message that Srila Prabhupada had written in his books. So that was the first draw for me personally. And I know many, many millions of devotees around the world. Okay, so we'll take any other reflections, any other thoughts, comments. We also see many devotees coming, right? This particular movement, or this particular thing that started in the 1970s, is still continuing. There are a lot of traveling Sankirtan parties. We have many devotees in different parts of America still doing this in buses. They have the vans, they load the trucks, buses, they go out. Trying to remember. Yeah, there are so many. I know we have had devotees from Michigan, from Texas, from any other. I know in California, many devotees still do this. So yeah, that mode that was started in 70s is still continuing. And Prabhupada said, of course, we should also read. Yeah, reading is important. Like he said, finish your chanting in the morning. That is one thing Prabhupada and even Prabhupada disciples, our current Guru Varga, emphasize a lot, that before we go out and preach, before we go out and distribute, the mode should be that we complete our chanting. We do our morning sadhana. That should be very strong. Finish our morning sadhana, complete your 16 hours of chanting, finish the morning reading, Srimad Bhagavatam, and then you go out, for the rest of the hours, whatever, 8, 10 hours. And so because that was their full-time brahmacharis. And Prabhupada also encouraging grahasthas can go out, you know, to the extent possible. We can distribute. So it's good that we are trying to do as much as possible in our own humble endeavor to go out to the grocery stores, to go out and set up bookstalls, and any of these festivals that we go out to, like the Durga festival we went to, the school that we went to, so like that. So we try our humble way in whatever way we can. But yeah, we should not do it at the cost of, not following the regulative principle that Srila Prabhupada gave, right? Those are foremost. So Prabhupada is encouraging them that, yeah, finish your morning sadhana and then go out and preach, because that gives the energy that bestows the energy, the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, of the Acharyas, and then you are able to attract, because with purity, as well as purity is the force, so you attract others with your purity. So that is very, very important, that we should not neglect that at the cost of just preaching. Yeah. All right. Any other thoughts, reflections before we wrap up today? Anandini Gopika Mataji, anything you'd like to share?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. I was just amazed to see, wow, so many books distributed in 3 days. This is in actuality demonstration of how you can stay high. So this is so wonderful, and I'm not sure, this might still be the record book distribution holding up now. I don't know, but coming from Ella, this is so wonderful, and I just was feeling like it's inspiring, Prabhu. And we need to do so much more. These devotees did so much for Srila Prabhupada. So sometimes in comparison, our contribution feels puny, and it's just an inspiration to do more. That's all, Prabhu. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. Yeah, I don't know the numbers, but I know there's like we said, it's a transcendental competition. Many of the temples try to do that. I'm pretty sure they must have beaten that record by now. This was 55 decades ago, 50 years ago. But I know they do so much in LA and in California and in Silicon Valley. So they distribute under the guidance of Vaisheshika Prabhu, that I'm pretty sure this number would have been beaten by now. So yeah, but yeah, whatever we could do, and I think especially in the time of Christmas, these holidays, most of the temples have this marathon. So Columbus does it. Last year we also did it, and again, whatever it is, even one step that we take, again, like this the month of Kartik, the mercy is multiplied millions of times. Like Prabhupada gave that blessing yesterday to that disciple Karandara, that may Krishna bless you millions of times. So just because of the book distribution that he was doing. So like that, yeah, this is a very, very auspicious time of Kartik, and maybe I'll talk to Vishwanath Prabhu to see if we have any planned book distribution. At least we should have one or two in this month. And of course, then we'll have more during the holidays in Thanksgiving and Christmas. Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much, Mataji. Thank you, everybody, for joining on a Sunday morning.
And
Just
interesting part, Prabhuji, like I'm
Hmm.
thinking in digital world, how if Prabhupada would have come this era, right? I mean, this year, how he would be approaching for this book distribution. Though we are following him how to distribute, but in this digital world, like Insta, YouTube, and not sure, like how we do his approach would be.
I mean, this is there. I mean, right now, this what we are doing right now on the screen share itself is digital. We have everything in Veda
Yeah,
base.
I mean,
So it is good. Yeah, it is. It's a good, because but still people are still interested in physical books, right? So that's why I think it's important we go out and distribute. But yeah, like you said, I mean, now with the digital world, we have online now. People like audiobooks, right? So when you're driving in the car, people listen to that. So that's also a good way. So those options are also there. I think Prabhupada books are available in audio form,
Yes,
digitally.
yes, we
Yes,
have so many
mm,
app and
yeah,
Prabhupada's.
apps are there. Yeah. So yeah, it is good in whatever format people would like. All options. Devotees are coming up in novel, innovative ways to bring these books to the larger audience. So yeah. Yeah. So yeah, everything is there available easily in the pocket of in our pockets. We have our phones and everything is available. So that's why Prabhupada was the walking and talking encyclopedia. He had everything in his head. Nothing was there that time in
Yeah,
the internet.
right.
Now we have
But reading
everything.
in physical book is a different feeling. That's for sure. If you touch
Yeah.
the book and read it, the
Mm.
different feeling comes rather than in digital.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Old school is gold school. So okay. Thank you, Prabhu. All
Yeah,
right, we'll end here. And today, His Grace Nalin Prabhu and Pragyan Mataji are hosting the Kartik program at their home this evening, 6 to 8 p.m. So, looking forward to that. Whoever is
yeah,
available to
all
join.
welcome. Join with
Mm,
us today.
yes. All right. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you, Mataji. पांचकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः अनंत कोटि वैष्णवंद की जय जगत गुरु श्री प्रभुपाद की जय श्री प्रभुपाद लीलामृत की जय कार्तिक मास महामहोत्सव की जय निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि
Hari
बोल
Hari.
Hari Hari Bol.
हरे कृष्ण
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.